Master life with these 10 life hacks. Welcome to Cash Street, where cash is always king. You've been given some wonderful and bizarre life advice, especially when things appear to be getting worse. The question is, which of these strategies is worth the time and will actually yield some results? Let's take a look at some of them, okay? Number 1 is the Pareto Principle. According to the Pareto Principle, roughly 20% of the effort results in approximately 80% of the effects. The 80-20 rule is another name for it. In other words, you might notice that 20% of your customers account for 80% of your revenue, or that the first 20% of your time building a website was spent on the first 80%, and the last 20% of a task typically takes 80% of the time to complete. The rule, on the other hand, says that the first 20 jobs, or 80% of the total, are usually good enough to pass the test. Like how, even if you only know how to play 20 notes on a guitar, you can still play 80 songs in a recognizable way, which is more than enough for most people unless you want to become a master composer. Number 2 is the 5-second rule. This is the 5-second rule that explains human motivation. Motivation coach and all-around dynamite woman Mel Robbins popularized this one. According to Robbins, if you have the urge to move toward a goal, you must move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. Therefore, before your mind convinces you to start a new Netflix binge, when it feels like it reminds you to work on your business plan, get to your desk and open a document on your laptop. The next time you feel the urge to act on a goal or a commitment, use the 5-second rule to remind yourself to go with your gut and not your brain. Count down from 5 seconds to 1. Do not pass. Do not collect $200, but instead act. Number 3. Goodhart's Law. The law says that a good measure becomes a target when it becomes one. To put it another way, if you only use one indicator of success, such as the amount of money in your bank account, you might be sacrificing quality and, consequently, the success of your company's growth over the long term. Instead, if your goal is to create a great product or service that meets a need, you'll measure success by how well it sells and is received. This kind of business will naturally bring in money because great content creators will build a following and eventually make money from their efforts. Those who only care about increasing numbers will quickly perish in the sludge of bad content. Number 4. Murphy's Law. We all hate old Murphy. It's great to have someone to blame, but it's bad that he always gets it right. Basically, the law says that anything that can go wrong will. Well, if you put Murphy's Law in a positive light, you'll find that it makes you much more intuitive and productive. You will be able to plan for their resolution before they turn into catastrophes if you're able to take into account what could go wrong and what weaknesses exist. This gives you an advantage in business in terms of foresight and the opportunity to incorporate contingency plans into your actions. Similar to how we drive slower when it's raining because we know the risks are higher, and if we do get into an accident, it will probably be because of bad weather. It's more of a cautious outlook on life than a negative one. Number 5. Parkinson's Law. The strange phenomenon known as Parkinson's Law is explained by the fact that work typically takes exactly the amount of time it is given. To put it another way, it explains why, rather than working as quickly as possible and having time left over, our human nature is to stretch out or increase our workload to fit the given time frame. Have you ever noticed that how long it takes to make dinner is exactly how long it takes to make it? For example, if you made dinner once in 30 minutes, you could bet your bottom dollar that it will take you 2 hours to make it again if you have 2 hours to spare. This is seen in business with deadlines and budgets. Isn't it funny that this holds true regardless of how little or how much time you are given? That is typically exactly how long it takes you to complete the work in the same manner. Have you ever noticed that, despite receiving an increase, the majority of employees' salaries run out before payday? The beauty of this is that you won't have to worry about running out of time to prepare a presentation, which typically takes all day. You will most likely create a slideshow of your CEO's dreams as a result of the pressure of the deadline. Number 6. The Law of Attraction. It has to do with realizing that positivity attracts positivity, success attracts success, and laziness, on the other hand, attracts, well, nothing except maybe a bad smell. According to the law of attraction, when we take action towards something, it also moves closer to us. To put it another way, when you start saving for a house, you open the door to wealth creation. When you start saving for a project, you look for ways to put more money into that fund. You'll probably get a side job, sign a big deal at work, or increase sales at your business. This may be referred to as the power of positive thinking, but it is probably more accurately referred to as the power of big thinking. You'll see opportunities right away and have more energy than ever before, which will help you progress toward your goal. Number 7. Inspired action. With their slogan, "Just do it," Nike got it right. If you want to do anything, just do it. You won't become a master chef if you order takeout every night, and a hair salon won't get creative if you spend all day on Facebook. If success coach Zig Ziglar claims to have done it, you'll be inspired to try it. Make the conscious decision to take the first step. Is it true that the first step is frequently the most frightening, but each step gets easier? You are in charge of your own success. And if you have a goal in mind that makes you feel enthusiastic, inspired, and motivated, you're already halfway there. You need the motivation to act. You may believe that manifestation is sufficient, but it is uncertain. Your vibrations must match your objective, but the objective won't just appear by itself. To reap the benefits, both are required. Number 8. The rule of balance. We all want to strike the perfect balance, but how does it work? If we devote 70% of our time to our work, only 30% of that time is allocated to our personal lives, friends, and pets. Mark Zuckerberg perfectly put it when he said that you can have everything, but not all at once. Bill Gates, who was single into his 30s, used to sleep in his office 5 days a week. Because he is so well known, Brad Pitt is depressed and unable to spend time with his children outside. In essence, every decision necessitates making sacrifices. If you've made a decision to be a stay-at-home mom, what can you do to strike a balance? If so, what can we do to prevent FOMO and be the best stay-at-home mom we can be? If you've decided to go back to work, forget about FOMO and work as hard as you can. By doing this, you focus on the now, which will help you make better decisions in the future. Number 9. The principle of momentum. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If you can't fly, run if you can't run, walk if you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving to gain momentum." It's great to set goals, but just setting them won't get you there. You won't make a cake by purchasing cake ingredients, does it? You need to be a goal achiever, and the idea of momentum suggests that you keep going. Strange saying, but a true sentiment. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Make a list of your objectives, set a deadline for achieving them, and then move on to the next. Before you know it, you're so driven that you achieve every goal you set for yourself. If your objective is to pay off your debt sooner and you continue to save an additional $100 per month, you will soon notice the difference in your mortgage or debt. Number 10. No strain, no gain. Be prepared to put in a lot of effort. If you want to achieve your objectives, doing nothing will not help. It's as simple as that. If you put in a little effort, you'll get a little in return. If you put in a lot, you'll get a lot out of it. However, there are some smarter ways to work. Keep in mind what Kevin Hart said, "I live by that. Everyone wants to be famous, but nobody wants to work." You put in a lot of work so that you can play hard, and in the end, what you put in will pay off. Your hard work will eventually pay off, whether it takes a year or 30 years. Thank you from Cash Street, where cash is always king.